All right, let's jump into the news.
Good evening, Mr. Mr. North and South America, and all the ships and clippers at sea. Let's go to press. Flow.
Ben, do you mess with Slay the Spire?
You know, I was just thinking about messing with Slay the Spire because I don't actually know anything about it, but I'm just finishing up my Hollow Knight experience, and might be time to move on to a new video game.
Well, those are two of the best indies ever made, and I think you should do that. So Slay the Spire, the massive hit phenomenon of deck-building roguelike video games designed by, I shall say, two I don't know if I can say professional, but big-time Netrunner players. Maybe were they Netrunner designers? I don't know. They were big in the Netrunner world, and then they made Slay the Spire. And now somebody out there called Contention Games, which is a board game publisher I am not familiar with, which has only made a game called Imperium the Contention, which is a game I've also never heard of, somehow got the rights to Slay the Spire, and it's coming to Kickstarter in spring 2021, and that is literally all we know about it. I hope it is nothing like Slay the Spire, the video game, because I don't need a board game of Slay the Spire, the video game, because it's a card game. There's nothing that I can think of that a board game would do better that just mirrors the experience of Slay the Spire. So I would really like them to find something new to explore. And I would imagine they would. If they're just going to try to turn the video game into a board game, why would I just play the video game? It's going to be much faster and better. And
but maybe the human component is actually what makes it different. Maybe playing against a human that's like right there with you. There's just
funny.
That's another X factor there.
I just assumed this would be a co-op, but you're right. Maybe it's not. Yeah, that could be interesting.
Well, I mean, I don't know. I know nothing about Slay the Spire, so I'm just assuming that if you're sitting with a human being at a table, it automatically is actually a different experience than playing online, even if you have a headset.
Yeah. Well, that's cool. And I mean, if they can do a PvP Slay the Spire, that'd be really fun. And I would be in for that. So yeah, I'm obviously excited to see what they do with it. I love the IP. It's one of the few video games I've ever bought a T-shirt for. I really love the world. I have a Slay the Spire T-shirt that I love to wear.
Wow.
It's an awesome. I love the IP.
That is my new favorite, like, what's the right word? Is rubric or whatever? That's my new favorite, like, tier of loving a game. It's like, I got the T-shirt.
I got the T-shirt.
That's the new.
I'm not ashamed to wear the T-shirt while I play the game.
It's okay. I got a Twin Peaks T-shirt when they did the reboot on Showtime. What can I say?
Well, that's amazing. Next up in news, this is so funny because I literally bought a copy of this 2 weeks ago. They have announced a new edition of Glass Road coming in June or July of 2021. This is a little confusing because Capstone Games is now the US publisher of Glass Road, and their edition is going to be coming out in like April or something, I think. And now Fjorland Spiel is publishing sort of a new edition, which I think is just going to be sort of almost like the HANSA big box. It's just Glass Road with all the promos. There's never been expansion for Glass Road with all the impossible to get promos that were released over the years, and some new stuff for use in the solo version of the game. So I'm not sure how that's going to differ from Capstone's version as well. It's a little confusing. But either way, I just always think it's funny when I buy a copy on eBay for an inflated price, and then like a week later they announce the new edition.
Yeah, that's fun how that works out, you know? You actually introduced me to Glass Road a few weeks ago. Well, actually, another thing that happened over this Christmas break, in addition to playing all these 18xx games, I played a lot of Uwe Rosenberg games with you, like a lot.
I think that's my fault. That is my fault, and we're going to definitely get deep into that in our guest segment today because I have a Uwe problem these days.
It was fun, but at a certain point, I was like, I need to not play a Uwe Rosenberg game. I was like, it just wasn't even a breaking. It was just like there are other games I just want to sort of layer into this mix for like one day. But that being said, I was thinking that there should totally be a semi-regular segment where we like chime in about Uwe Rosenberg, and you can call it Uwe Oughta Know, right?
Oughta Know.
Yeah. Segment
that'll be
really
the
just
next
to
one.
have a pun, just to have a pun on the show,
That's it. Some podcasts are worth having just for the pun.
just for the pun. A Juve ought to know segment.
Yeah, I taught you both Glass Road and Newsfjord, which are his sort
And
of
Aura
knife
and
fight.
Labora.
Right, yes, but Glass Road and Newsfjord are very similar. They're both his like hour-long knife fight in a phone booth games. Which of those two did you prefer?
Newsford, I liked
Yeah,
more. I really liked Newsford a lot. I would like to
me
play
too.
it again. But it's funny because it was literally like it was like Newsford one day, Glass Road, or at
Yeah,
Labora.
I know.
So it was just like
And
there's
a lot of
definitely
Hallertau mixed in there too.
and then there was a lot of Hallertau, and but I'm gonna get you back because I'm gonna force you to play Fields of Arl,
Oh,
and I want to
that's
get
all I want.
Lowlands. Lowlands is not a
Yes.
Uwe Rosenberg game, but it's Uwe Rosenberg approved. Like he was like a consultant on it,
Oh, I love that.
and it's super cool. It's like Uwe Rosenberg, but with the threat of like mass sheep death. So
Oh,
yeah,
amazing. As
yeah.
opposed to mass sheep slaughter, which is
No,
something
this
that
is
happens in
this is
Hallertau a lot.
yeah. No, this is not sheep slaughter. This is like you were too lazy to build a dike, and you let all your sheep get flooded away in the ocean.
Oh, amazing. Okay.
Yeah,
I'm into that.
yeah.
I'm into that. Next up in the news, we talked about it briefly. Darwin's Journey is on Kickstarter right now. It has already gained over $500,000, which is insane for a
Yeah.
heavy board game, but
That's good. Good for
that's
it.
the board game world we live in these days. You've got about 2 weeks left to back it. Go check it out if you love Simone Lucione, which I know many of our listeners do. It's definitely worth a look. If you like Newton, it's definitely worth a look. It's €45 for the base, and then there's a fancy collector's for 70. Definitely go check that out. You got 2 weeks to make your decision, and the mod is on TTS, and the rules are complete. Next up is a solo game. I've always sort of liked Dan Versen games. I think it's Dan Versen, right? DVG games. They make pretty heavy war games. They had a game called Phantom Leader that I played a few years ago, which is basically like a jet fighter simulation running mission solo game. But I'm always interested when they come out with a new one. They have one called T-34 coming out on Kickstarter. I think it's maybe their first or second Kickstarter, summer 2021. T-34 Leader, World War II, ground combat, solitaire strategy game, yada, yada, yada. But if you like very heavy solo war games, they're sort of the cream of the crop, in my opinion. We spoke about Wingspan earlier. You said that the mise en scène of Wingspan was one of the leading factors to its enjoyment. Well,
Yes.
people agree with you. There is a book coming out called Celebrating Birds, an interactive field guide. And
Great title.
it is a book featuring art from Wingspan. This is not art taken from a book and put into Wingspan. This is art taken from a board game and put into a book.
I think that's great.
This is, and it's not just a collection of art from the board game. This is a book about birds. This is a book about learning about birds. It's an interactive field guide. You take it out with you into the field, as they say, out into the I don't know what I've heard rumors of it, but I guess there's stuff outside of your house still. And I guess there's like birds out there or something, and you could have this book and look at it. And now all that lovely art from the cards will be used to help you find these birds in this quote unquote outside world that people are talking about.
That's super cool. You know what? Because I definitely found myself more interested in birds after playing Wingspan.
Totally.
You know, and I think that's like I think that's a great aspect of a game where you become more interested in things based off of playing the game. And I'm actually surprised about how much random ancillary tidbits I've picked up from
Oh, yeah.
gaming. Like
Oh,
all
yeah.
over the place. It comes in such strange places. You know, like even HANSA Teutonica, like that now I know that there was some strange Hanseatic League, you know, like I never knew that. And now like and it just like will pop up in the most random time. And I'm like, I learned that from a board game. So I think this is great like extension of that.
That's one of my favorite things, especially with historical based games, is then wanting to learn more about that era and reading a book on it. I've done that with so many board games. This will be available wherever books are sold April 6th, 2021. You don't have to Kickstarter. You don't have to wait 5 years. April 6th in your Barnes and Noble or wherever the heck you buy books anymore. God knows where anybody buys a book. But yeah, Celebrating Birds. an interactive guide. I bet a lot of birders. Is that what they're called? Birders?
Birders, yeah.
Yeah, a lot of birders have been created. It's fun to say birders. A lot of
Birders.
birders. It sounds very aggressive. A lot of
Birders.
birders have been created from Wingspan, and the activity they partake in is called birding.
Birding.
It's very fun.
Birding.
Yeah, not to be confused with Bird Box, which is
or burning.
Apocalyptic movie.
Yeah, or burners. Burners where people who go to Burning Man.
Right, that's true. Don't confuse.
There could be a Venn diagram of those, though.
They hate when you confuse. They get very upset. Next on Kickstarter this is an interesting one. Travis D. Hill, a man more known for TTRPG design, has made a foray into board games. If he's made other board games I don't know about, I apologize. And this is a part of the 100 copy challenge, or it's some sort of thing happening on Kickstarter where people are making a game and only having to make 100 copies of that game. The game is called Card Rails. It's a 54 card cube rails game. So we're talking 18xx adjacent, cube rails adjacent, but the only components are wooden cubes and a deck of 54 cards. And the deck of 54 cards look a lot like a 18xx board when they're laid out. Travis made 100 copies available. They sold out, of course, in minutes. So if you didn't get one of those, you'll never get one again. He said that's it. And it's not a ploy for FOMO creation. This is literally, he says he's getting his master's degree and does not have time to do more. And this is all he wants. And this is the challenge. It's a part of the 100 copy challenge or something happening, and that's just what it is. So don't feel sad that you didn't get one. Feel happy that he made 100. And if you really want to play it, for $6, you can pledge and get the print and play cards, and you can print your own and find your own wooden
All right. All right. I was wondering whether because I was wondering. I was like, here's a piece of news. There was a game that was made, and you can't get it, and you never will.
Yeah.
Moving on.
Yeah. And he's making 100 copies for $20, but for $6, you can get your own. You can make your own copy.
Okay.
And,
all right.
There's lots of places that will print a deck of cards for you, and pretty easy to get some cubes. So I don't think there's a huge difference.
That sounds cool.
But yeah, cool thing. Looks interesting. Maybe worth checking out and making your own copy because the 100 are gone. Bada bing, bada boom. Next up is okay. This is a game that I love. Have you played Taverns of Tiefenthal?
I have, but you know what? Believe it or not, I've actually only played at its most basic form. I haven't.
I don't like that game. Oh no,
I thought it was delightful. I thought it was delightful, and my friends and I played with a friend. And we're like, okay, we'll play it with all the mods added. And it was like a last minute thing where we were like, what should we play? And we saw it on Tabletopia, and so I read through the rules quickly, and I just didn't have the patience to read through all the rules for the mods.
No.
I thought it was
love it with
fun, even basic.
All the mods. It's okay. It's okay. But once you play with all the modules, you'll be like, I never want to play the other game again. Okay. I love it. I adore it. We're putting it on our list of games to play on Tabletopia as soon as possible because it's a lovely. It's my favorite deck builder, I would say. But anyway, the first expansion ever is coming for it. It's called Zimmer Frei, and I don't know what that means in German, but someone will tell us, I'm sure. Due out in May 2021. I don't even care what it's about. I'm buying it immediately. Innkeepers give players individual skills that might influence their strategy in the game, and the mayor will reward players when you help him to develop his town into a tourist center. So I guess there's a mayor who now wants you not only to make your tavern the greatest tavern in town, but also to help his town as well. And his is in quotations because it doesn't need to just be a man that's the mayor.
That's right.
That is right.
Zimmer Frei means rooms vacant, or I guess it's basically like, vacancy. Like come to our inn.
Yeah, it's a tavern with an inn now. Yes, exactly. So are taverns inns, or is a tavern just the where you get the liquor? The beer, the mead.
Yeah, that's a good question because I kind of felt like the inn already encompassed kind of the tavern portion.
I did as well. I thought a tavern had an inn. Yeah,
I don't know. I think there's like a spectrum of tavern. This is a good wavelength question: tavern or inn?
Tavern or inn, and we're right in the middle here. Mine's down the middle. What the heck is it?
Yeah, which is ironic. It's Wolfgang Warsch's game also.
Yes. God bless him. And a last bit of news. This is some personal news here, personal to our podcast here. Jennifer Schlickburn, the game pioneer, the pioneer herself, has become a member of the International Gamers Awards. What is the International Gamer Awards, you ask? The International Gamers Awards were founded in 1999 for the express purpose of recognizing outstanding games, their designers, and the companies which publish them. The awards have gained widespread acclaim and have helped bring these outstanding games to the public's attention. More information can be found at internationalgamerawards.net. But this is a very prestigious group of tabletop professionals or experts, as Jennifer definitely is. And I'm so glad that she was voted in and nominated to be a member of this. And they gave the best strategy game this year went to Barrage. So they've got some good taste over there.
Congratulations. Yeah, Jennifer is so connected in board games. It's crazy. Like if you were to say, oh, I really like chess, you'd be like, oh yeah, I know the guy who made chess. she knows everyone.
Yeah, she'd be like, I met him at Essen.
Yeah, he's great. He's lovely.
She probably would have designed a mod for it at some point. An expansion.
That's very exciting for her. Very, very exciting.
Absolutely. Congratulations. And I'm so glad she's on there. And they're lucky to have her. Hey, if you enjoyed that video, you very well might enjoy the other videos you now see being suggested to you on screen. Also, we'd greatly appreciate it if you could like, share, or subscribe to our Game Brain channel. Thanks so much.